It's Tuesday, August 10th. Tip of the Grant's Sound Advice coffee cup to you. I hope you're having a great Tuesday. Tech Tuesday has become getting started in the voiceover business for several episodes now, and I'm going to continue for a while. So, this is episode 7. Last week in episode 6, we talked about the business making money, a separate entity called the business. And today I want to get into that separate entity a little bit. So, still think about your business has to make money and it has to pay the bills, and you're in charge of making sure that happens, right? So, about that separate entity thing, there are basically 3 forms of business. Yes, there are more, but I'm going to talk about the basic 3. The easiest, simplest way to start a business is called a sole proprietorship. You set up a lemonade stand, you sell lemonade, you make money, you pay taxes on it, you put it in your bank account, and you spend it as it will. Oversimplified, but that's a sole proprietorship. In some places, like Virginia, you still have to file a fictitious name, even though it's your name and all that kind of stuff. So, my first big thing for you to learn is consult a tax accountant. Not a bookkeeper, although your bookkeeper may do taxes or your tax person may do bookkeeping. Make sure they are a qualified tax person that can take your conversation all the way through April or whenever they're going to do taxes next year and answer all your tax questions along the way. They will save your butt if you do it wrong. Keep you from doing it wrong, whatever, you know what I mean. So, sole proprietorship. Okay, easy. It's you. Let's say you own a bed and breakfast and you're the owner and you're the sole proprietor, and somebody goes in, drops a vase of flowers on their foot, it cuts their foot. You're on the hook for that. You are the owner, you're the sole proprietor. Yes, you have insurance, blah, blah, blah. Let's take a step up. The next is called an LLC. It's a limited liability company. Now you're getting a little bit of separation legally. The LLC can do this. The LLC can do that. You happen to be the operator. Are you still in danger of getting sued? Heck yeah. I mean, if you're a Chrysler Corporation shareholder, you probably got sued the last time brakes failed on a car. I don't know, but there's no protection from getting sued. But it does say, I'm separating myself as a legal corporation of limited liability, limited to me. Anyhow, talk to your tax person if I haven't said that. Okay. You can set up a separate bank account. You can set up a separate bank account for a sole proprietor. It does help clean up your books. It doesn't fix anything, but it does do that. Oh, and by the way, if you don't mind to like and subscribe the channel, share with a friend. Okay, sorry, had to put the ad in there, right? So you've got the limited liability company or corporation. Limited liability, it limits your exposure. There's rules. Imagine that. You want to make sure you've got legal, that you state everywhere that you're doing business as a DBA, something, something LLC, Grant's Voice LLC, etc. Fictitious names, blah, blah, blah. There's 50 states, so there's at least 50 different laws, and then each locality has a law. You may need to do special things within your jurisdiction. Who knows? Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Okay, next step, a actual corporation where you have shareholders, and you can be the only shareholder, but a shareholder owns shares. They own pieces of the corporation, whatever piece. You can buy 1 share of Ford stock and own 1 share of Ford. Or Google or anybody else for that matter. Doesn't get you much. So anyhow, you can start an S-corp or a C-corp. I'm not even going to try to tell you the differences because they're deep and they're critically different because of what you want to do. And the tax reporting and board reporting and all that all changes throughout all this stuff. So find a good tax person. You may even need a tax attorney, but at least find a good tax bookkeeper. Bookkeeper is one thing. A tax person is another thing. Again, they might be the same thing. Talk to them. Interview a couple, lock in with one, and ask them every question you can think of all the way up through tax time. There's differences, but you own shares. You, me, and 3 other people could go together, buy 25% of the shares in a corporation we establish and go buy that log cabin. And now we are the 4 owners of that, not one, but 4 owners of the corporation. The corporation would own the log home. I don't want to get too deep into this because I'm not an attorney and I'm not a tax person and I'm certainly not a bookkeeper. Remember that. But this is pretty decent advice to go talk to the right people. So what's next? Well, I've had people ask me, Grant, what do I keep track of? Everything. Everything. If you buy something, get a receipt, scan it. There's bookkeeping programs online you can put on your smartphone. Scan it, put it in there. This is for a new microphone. Boop. And now, tax time, there it is on your phone. And it's done. I keep my records a little differently than that, but I know exactly where everything is. Whenever I get a new gig and I send an invoice, it comes into that same program. And at the end of the year, I know exactly how many things I've made money on, exactly what I've spent money on. There are things like going out to eat. You can't write that off the way you used to be able to. Even mileage may be a little dicey. Track the expense. It's easier at the end of the year for your accountant to say, I'm sorry, you can only take 50% of this, or you can't take this expense as a tax write-off, than to say, well, you know, there was that day I went out with Shirley for lunch, and I think we went to, and I think it was how. You need proof. And going back through your credit card statements and trying to track it now. There. By the way, like and subscribe to the channel, share with a friend, stick that in there real quick. So the next thing is, no matter which of the 3 different entities we talked about creating, especially for the sole proprietorship and the LLC, you're going to need to make estimated tax payments. So let's say you have a good year and you're going to make 50 grand, and whatever that is in taxes, let's just say it's 10,000. I don't know what the numbers are. It doesn't matter. You don't wait till December. You don't wait till April to pay the $10,000 in taxes. The government, I don't know how they make any money, but the government has to have that money throughout the year or you will get penalized for not paying it. So there are quarterly tax estimates due based on the amount of business you're doing. So let's just say you're doing $2,000 a month, just to have a number, and you need to pay taxes on that, $500. You need to pay that $500 regularly. Talk to your tax person, and that way, at the end of the year, your taxes are paid. You may even get some of that back, or you'll have very little left to pay. Whatever this is, the biggest advice I want you to take from this video today is pay your taxes. Pay your taxes. I know so many people that get to the end of the year and they've spent the government's money, sorry, that's the way it is, on a new microphone, a new camera, a new PC, lighting for the thing, and flooring and sound panels and blah, 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 and they got no money to pay the taxes. It's a great way to have the government take everything you own. That's the scary part. Yeah, they'll work with you. They'll send you nasty grams. You can work it all out, but there will be taxes and penalties. Pay your taxes. Early, on time, pay them. Really, pay them. Your tax person will help you with your estimates. You can say, well, hey, this quarter I've made $12,000. Well, that could extrapolate to $48,000, about our $50,000 number we used a minute ago. They will tell you how much to pay the state and how much to pay the federal government, including self-employment tax. Yes, your employer, if you have one now, is doing that for you. You may not know that. Yeah. 30% is a nice round number of anything you make to set aside for taxes. Make $10, put 3 aside. Yeah. But, hey, this is what we're here for, right? Being in business. Like and subscribe to the channel if you would. I may have mentioned that before. It's important to me to try to grow this and share with people. I think there's a lot of business advice here that people don't always get. I want to remind you that the SBDC and SCORE, SCORE.org, are both great free assets. If you go to my website, grantsvoice.com, there's a place you can set a paid consultation with me if you'd like. I'm happy to mentor with you and help you get your business going, voiceover or not. It really doesn't matter, and at least give you some good foothold. So I hope this was helpful to you. If it was, please put it in the comments. Give it that little thumbs up. And have a great Tuesday. It's warm and sunny here in Southwest Virginia. It's going to be a great day. I got to go record a whole bunch of scripts right now. The day is full. I will talk to y'all soon, maybe tomorrow for Wednesday Potpourri. Thanks.